Welcome to Notary Insights Live with Tech Amaku and Tiger Toledo. The show will be starting shortly. Thank you for
As
your
a part-time
patience.
traveling notary with a full-time job, balancing everything can be tough, especially when you're getting calls at all hours. That's where SabrinaAI comes in. Think of Sabrina as your personal assistant who answers every call, handles appointment bookings, provides quick answers to common questions, and filters out non-urgent inquiries. Sabrina works 24/7 so you never miss a client opportunity, even when you're tied up with your full-time job. With this system, you can keep things running smoothly without the stress of managing calls yourself, giving you more time to focus on your work, clients, and everything else life throws your way.
Scan the QR code for a free demo.
Welcome to Notary Insights Live with Tech Amaku and Tiger Toledo. The show will be starting shortly. Thank you for your patience. Welcome to Notary Insights Live with Tech Amaku and Tiger Toledo. The show will be starting shortly. Thank you for your patience.
Peace, peace. Is this thing on?
Yeah, can you hear my mic?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. What's good, man? What's good? What's popping, man?
I'm loving the intro, man. Good
Oh
to
yeah, I had
see
to
you.
switch it up. I'm gonna switch it up here and there, man. Keep the content fresh. So I mean, got to do it for the peoples, man. Got to give them the fresh new content. But peace, peace, peace. This is your international sales and marketing hit, man. Your humble hip hop sales coach, Tiger Toledo, and you already know what it is, man. You are rocking with the best. You see who's on the side of me, man. Mr. Automation himself, Mr. Thumbtack for Notaries, Mr. Brainbox himself, fresh out of Oakland, California. He could throw a rock and hit Silicon Valley, Mr. Tech Amaku. You heard? What's up, brother?
Greetings from the Golden States, from the left coast, coming to you live from East Oakland, California.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeedy. Man, this is part 2. Part 1 was explosive. We're gonna bring part 2 into the mix now of where have your notary gurus gone? Where have they gone? They have set you up. They came in, Tech. They solved the problem and then ghosted them. But then new problems arise because of the new situation that they put the notaries in.
So you saying that life got hard?
Sure.
things got tough, they just left?
Absolutely. Think about it, bro. If I started a notary business, let's say Andre Hatchett put me on to the notary business, but then I get to a certain level and he ghosts his entire tribe, leaves everybody hanging. Now I'm ready to move to the next level. Who do I go to? I have a new set of problems now. What are we gonna do? So we're gonna take this part 2, man. But I want to pull up this trivia thing before we get into the part 2. But in the meantime, man, let's roll. Let's just go in, man. Let's clap at him, bro.
Say it. So when you say it just goes to them, life, it just, you mean to tell me that after all of the information and all of the leading tips and gems he dropped, they just disappeared?
Disappeared, bro.
Wow. I feel bad for them. It sucks.
Where have they gone?
It sucks, man. It sucks. The sad truth is what we discussed last week about all these influencers, where have they disappeared to? And where have they vanished off into? And what are they doing now? And what happens to the people that they left behind? Now, well, of course, we don't want to leave you guys hanging, no pun intended. So I think the focus of what I want to definitely, the message I would definitely want to get across, and obviously we'll do this, tandem, is that what you guys end up, how to stop this from happening in the future, because the people who left, they will be replaced. There's no question about that. There was a space that was left void once your notary guru, entrepreneur, expert extraordinaire left. That was a time for somebody else to just swoop right in and then refill that vacant spot. So how do we prevent you guys from making that same mistake, repeating history, and then following somebody's advice who's probably going to leave you in the next 2 years, 3 years when things get tough again? Because things will get tough, won't they? They always do. The market changes, real estate changes. It's a cyclical industry. What does that mean, Tech? That means when things are really good, they're really, really good. And then when things are not so good, they're not so good. And then when they're really good again, it gets really good again. And it goes up and it goes down. But if you were building a real business, that means you are built to sustain those waves. You go up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. That means you're built to take a punch. And you don't just drop. And you don't get back up off your ass. So how do we prevent you guys from falling for that same trap? And some things to look out for. So I got a list of things that you should look out for.
Okay, let it rip, bro.
Number one, how do you know, if your question is how much, well, you get introduced to this industry because, let's be real, you don't care about the community. You can say that, but let's be real. You get into this industry because you want to make some money. Am I right? You might have jumped into this industry to help your community be altruistic and to help your friends and your family. All right. If you got into this to do charity, then good for you. This probably ain't the show for you then. What we're talking about, what we're discussing is probably ain't for you. So you can just bounce. You can just dip out. This ain't no charity, no not-for-profit type of operation we're running right now. If you came here to start a business and to generate income and to have something that's sustainable that can support you and your family and your lifestyle, then and to help people on top of that, then this is the place for you. So how do you know how do you know if somebody tells you, all right, to make $100,000, which is a very common claim, make $100,000, what do you always hear? It's only $385 a day.
Mm-hmm.
5 days a week. Here's how to know that the person to you is probably not being honest with you, or they're not telling you the whole story. Number one, they tell you that this is how you start a business, but they tell you in the same breath, oh yeah, make $100,000. First of all, that may not be enough money for you. You actually may require more than that, or it may be more than money than you ever seen in your life. Who knows? It could be one of the other two. That's why I don't think the money thing is important. But here's how you this is how you can tell. This is a telltale sign. You can make $100,000, $385 a day. You work 5 days a week. Keyword there. Keyword. Did you catch that? Very subtle. You work. See, people, when somebody says you work, that means you don't have a business. That means you are going out 5 days a week. That means you are going out every single day of the month. No vacations, no time off, no time freedom. No time freedom equals no financial freedom. Number one sign. That's an easy way to tell when somebody says, hey, $100,000, it's only $385 a day. Which brings me to my second point. The second point is, yeah, $385 a day. By the way, that's very doable, right? Not difficult at all. But then they say you have to do 7 appointments, 8 appointments. That's a seller's package, $70. It's a general notary work for $20. It's a remote online notary work for $25. It's a VA reverse mortgage for $85, right? Yeah, you make $100K a year. That's only $385 a day. But then you have to break it down. And again, you are doing this 5 days a week. And then you have to break that into 7 appointments per day. Are you prepared to do 7 appointments per day, 5 days a week for a whole 12 months? Does that sound like a business? No, that sounds like an extra job that you have. And by the way, let's talk about where are you getting those appointments from? Are these appointments coming directly to you? Are these independent private pay clients, or are these signing services that are spoon fed or direct title companies who are literally giving you the privilege of closing the documents for their clients? Their clients, not your clients, their clients. So when you start hearing this rhetoric about, hey, you can make $100,000, you can make $50,000, you can do all this stuff, work 5 days a week, you can go out and print these documents, you can go out and market for all these companies, you. That's the easiest way to determine if what this person is selling you is not actually a business. See, here's the difference, and I'll give you guys a peek into my real life. I'll tell you guys, I haven't done a signing in over 3 months. I'll do a specific signing for specific people who I really know, but a business is by definition an operation, a step-by-step process that does not require you to be there. A business, by definition, functions with you or without you. A business can still continue to operate if you are present or if you're not present. I do continue to hold down a full-time job or part-time job. I'm actually off on full-time for that. But my business runs full-time. See, because the business doesn't require me to be there. I don't have to take the phone call in order for the appointment to actually be execute. I make myself available in the event that a real story, just like yesterday. There's a investment company from the state of Texas. I'm in California, by the way. An investment company from the state of Texas who had a property that was in Texas, but they were contacting the person who lived here in California. Okay. So the actual owner who inherited the property was obviously from the state. So they needed to get these documents signed. So, but here, keep in mind, this person, they contacted our company directly. The only reason they needed to speak to somebody is because they wanted to make sure that the person that was filling out the documents, that they can get a photo ID or a snapshot of the photo ID. They just want to make sure that they can actually get that done because that was an important piece of the equation. Otherwise, the conversation was basically 20 seconds. Hey, is this open prime mobile notary? Absolutely. You have a document that needs to be signed. Oh, actually, I don't. It's a client of ours. I live in Texas, and we have a client who lives in Oakland. And we're trying to coordinate an appointment for 7 p.m. this evening. Excellent. Can you tell me what type of identification do they have? Oh, I think they have a driver's license. Matter of fact, that is the reason why we're calling. We need to get a picture of a driver's license and have that sent back to us. Is that something you do? No problem. Are you the person who's coordinating the appointment? Yes, we do. All right, so here's the next step. We'll send you a confirmation text message and just select the 7 o'clock time that works for your client. We'll be happy to get this out. Awesome. Thank you so much. If I have any questions, can I call back? Yes, this is our direct office. If you have any questions, just give us a call back. Click. 20-second phone call. This leads me to my last point, Tiger. How come notaries never tell you how much money they've made on the signing? Now, I know that there are people out there who will reveal what they have, a seller's package is around $150. A loan signing is about 125 plus, right? They'll give you these broad ranges. But why, if this business, right? If it's so attractive and they're giving you this huge presentation, how come they never reveal how much they've made on the signing? Right? And there could be a number of reasons why. Right? We can speculate to why they don't. But wouldn't you think that that would be important for somebody who's looking to get into this industry? They want to make it worth their time. Should I dip out? Should I leave what I'm currently doing now to pursue something where it doesn't make sense for me to leave my current situation just so that I can go into this industry and then only make $2 doing general notary work, right? So there's a whole list of reasons why. I mean, we can continue on and on and on, but I definitely want to get your input as to how come, a couple questions, right? How come people never reveal how much they make? How come notaries, for the most part, are going directly to this role of a job, but they're mislabeling it as a business? How come? And then it's really misrepresenting this fact that all notaries are rich. I'll tell you straight up, notaries ain't as rich as you think.
You said notaries are rich.
Oh yeah, they all make $100,000 because they all have their own schedule and because homes are being bought and sold and refinanced all the time. So therefore, notaries always do that. Remote online notary is the next biggest thing, and therefore notaries listen, there's some truth to this. There's no question about that. The point I really want to hammer home is that you can easily be misled by somebody who speaks in general, vague non-specific terms, and they can't give you examples when it worked for them and currently why it's still working.
Now, I got a couple of reasons why probably people wouldn't reveal their price in public like that, because here's a few of them, right? One, you probably live in a state where they have a very strict mandate like Washington or Maryland, where, you know, according to one of our Notary SEAL team members, Gold Squad, they snitch out there. There's a lot of snitches out there in Maryland, that notaries are snitching on other notaries because they are disgruntled with the way they're pricing their services, and they feel like they are supposed to stick to code. You're supposed to fall in line. This is the way we operate out here. So therefore, they may not want to reveal a price in the public. Now, behind the scenes, maybe if you purchase one of their courses, then they may reveal a price, because, you know, at that point you're paying for some type of mentorship on that. So that's one of my reasons why I think a lot of people don't reveal price. Second one is, it may be so low that it's not enough to keep the attention of the audience. So if I'm getting paid, you know, $50 per signing, which happens a lot, that's not enough for me to get someone to want to purchase my book or course, especially if I'm thinking like, you know, I'm creating this content in order to sell some type of product or service.
That's
so
correct.
they're probably like, if I say $50, they're probably not going to want to do it. But if I show a little bit of mystique, it's a form of marketing. If I show a little bit of mystique and I show that I'm actually running appointments, and I, you know, stay hush about the money, it looks very intriguing to a person that's not getting any appointments at all. So they'll go ahead and, you know, run that play. So I see there's quite a few reasons why people wouldn't reveal. And then even if they elevate their price, right? They say they're really getting $50 and they say I'm getting $75. To a person like you and I, that's still, you're still getting jerked, right?
Yes.
$75 for, like, I'm cringing when I hear that. So whatever you're selling is not exciting to me. Because especially if you're telling me that you're doing some type of loan signing and you're doing Post-its, you know, you're licking your thumb, you're thumbing through papers, you got 15 correspondence between you and the signing agent, you know, the title company, the escrow company. You got your scanner in the trunk. They got the FedEx label. I know all of what it entails, and then you're telling me that you scored with $75, and that's not a score.
You probably lost money.
Yeah, you know, even if you did make some money, it's not enough. The profit margin isn't meaty enough, right? It doesn't have meat on the bone.
Now, you talked about notary snitches. I want to bring up a point about that, because what you said is something that is never talked about. You don't ever hear about these people. And just to kind of give you guys some background on that, and feel free to fill in the gaps, Tiger. When you talk about notary snitches, we ain't talking about people who are committing crimes, right? We ain't talking about people who are assault and battery and murder and fraud and all that stuff. We're talking about people who live in your community, who look at your website or look at your prices, and some reason they feel compelled to report the fact that you are either cheating people, right? You may not have even even conducted a signing yet, but just the fact that you have a number published on your website, then they feel compelled to turn you in to the damn notary police catchers. So much, in other words, I want to report you to the Secretary of State because you're charging more than the state maximum. Is that where all the notary coaches went? Have they all been turned in to the notary police and then they're all in some type of notary penitentiary somewhere? Is that where they all went?
It's a very thin line though. You know, I've had somebody come on my course and I shared some strategies that I use, and this person was just had a stick up their ass. She was just stiff and rigid and not flexible to anything, and she thought like that is unethical. There's no way. This is the person that would look at a company like Google or Microsoft or Facebook and be like, you guys are monopolizing the industry. You guys are evil. You're like, no, that's just good business. We're gonna push this thing so hard until the government breaks us up. I think it's great business. But this person was so rigid, and sometimes people bring that employee mindset into something that should be considered a self-employed business aspect, right? So going back to what you were saying, people are approaching the notary business. They're like, I do this, I do that. I can run the appointment here. I have some availabilities there. You are running the business as the employee, like as if you were working your day job. I'll move those boxes. I will take the intake form. I will do this. I will do that. I will, work on my schedule to accommodate this sale. They never taught you to project in the illusion of being a bigger company, of looking like a bigger company. I think one of the biggest problems that I've seen, Tech, and this is like from the core, bro, on a marketing aspect, is that people take marketing far too seriously. Marketing is a creative space. There is no boundaries. There are no walls. There are no ceilings in marketing. And it's amazing to me because a lot of people admire the disruptors. They consider them disruptors because they do something out of the box, and really they didn't do anything out the box. They were just really creative and they pushed it through. We had that great talk with Camille yesterday in San Diego, right? Or San Francisco, one of those two. And I explained to him that there is no tiger eating frosted flakes.
Yeah.
Just that notion alone should liberate you and say, you know what? I've been thinking I have to be so truthful, and there's nobody's saying lie, but I'm saying, where do you draw the line between a lie and being creative?
Good point.
I always ask, my brother-in-law is a police officer, right? And I say, hey, man, if I went to court and they told me to swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God, when can I start lying again? I mean, I'm off the court. I stepped down. Can I start lying again? What's up, dude? I gotta fucking tell the truth for the rest of my life? That's what you telling me?
Yeah, you can start.
So you know what I mean? There's a line, dude. It's an imaginary line. You may not see it, but there has to be some type of line where you say, look, at this point, there has been a lot of red tape put before me. Let me create, or what you would call a workaround on those situations. A lot of these notaries that left you, these notary gurus left you high and dry. That doesn't mean that it's fucking over, dude. It doesn't mean that it's over. That means their chapter is done. Their season is done. Their season with you is done. Now it's time for you to move around. So you find somebody else that will help elevate your notary career to that next level. Hopefully it's Tech and I.
Yeah, I mean, because I'll keep it real with you guys, man. I'll keep it real. I think the real flex to me is not how much money you make. Is like, I don't have 7 kids. I don't have, I don't have 5 wives, and I don't have this extraordinary need for a super surplus of income, right? That's not to say that I wouldn't know what to do with it. Somebody who's a single mother who has 2 children and lives in the middle of the country, their needs are completely separate from what I do in my life and how my life operates. Yeah, she may make $50,000 a year, and then I may see that as pennies. On the other hand, she may look at what I earn and then may see that, it's like never seen that much money in her life, never seen that many zeros before. But what's universal is, how are you sustaining your business? How are you able to weather the storm? How is it that when the market dips, when a war breaks out, when a pandemic breaks out, when mass layoffs or new technologies are introduced, when all these different aspects of our economy are just being thrown at your business, how are you able to withstand a punch to the chin, and then to the gut, and then to the head, and still stay standing? To me, your ability to get a client, if that's not being discussed, then I don't want to care. I don't want to hear about how much money you made. It's not important. Now, in the same breath, though, I'll ask you, how come notaries don't reveal what they earn? How come and I'll be honest, one signature of my notary business is $117.09. 2 signatures is $117.09. 134.08 and go up, 148.97, 178. Doing off the top of my head, 65, 185.86. So there's nothing less than $117. Nothing. And by the way, if you remember, I said I haven't left the house in about 2 months. I've always been delegating appointments.
Okay, before I want to ask you a couple of questions, because we had some guests actually send some emails. Thank you guys for sending your questions and comments to info@tigertoledo.com. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, but before we do that, let's go to a quick commercial break.
Opus Clip turns your long-form videos into short clips in one click. Opus Clip is powered by AI, and it can create 30 clips in 15 minutes and outperform any manual video editing by saving 90% of time and tons of money. Opus Clip is so hot right now, it's like trying to get tickets to a Beyonce concert. So get Opus Clip now. Don't be the person who hears about it later and goes, "Dang, I should have listened to Tiger Toledo." Go ahead. Be the cool one in your squad. Try Opus Clip today for free. Just click the link in the description.
I like that part where it says, It's like getting tickets to a Beyonce concert.
Let's see. Let me pull up some of these questions, man, because this is good. So one of the questions, Tech, was, this is from Dan in Colorado. He said, if you were to start your notary business now in this current climate with AI and stuff, how would you start?
Good question, Dan from Colorado. If I were to start a notary business in this age of artificial intelligence, how would I start? The first thing I would do is the most important thing, which is I'll probably rank this 1 and 1A. But the first thing I would do is, number one, get a phone number that could connect me directly to an independent private pay client. And then that phone number will be connected to something that always answers the phone. So an artificial intelligence that always, 100%, without question, pick up the phone. Just like when you called your internet cable provider, and then you may not have spoken directly to a person, that might have been an artificial intelligence. That would be the first thing I would do. And the second thing, the one right slightly below that, and I know you didn't ask for this, Dan, but I'm gonna give it to you anyway. I'll tell you real quick. I was trying to donate. I have a 5-month-old, and he got some newborn diapers that he can't fit anymore, and we got to offload them. So I was trying to find some nonprofit somewhere to donate them. By the way, I live in an area where there's over 8 million, 9 million people. This ain't no small middle of nowhere town. So there's plenty of services. How hard do you think it was for me to find somebody to donate these diapers? It was a tremendous task. I went to 8 different places, or I called 8 different places. I finally found somebody after speaking to someone. Before then, I was just getting voicemails. I was just getting ringtones and voicemails. That's to tell you something. In the age of artificial intelligence, there's people who are looking for your service right this very moment. Your notary, they're looking for exactly what you offer, but for some reason, they can't get in contact with you. So today, I would use artificial intelligence in a way that would always respond, even when I wasn't available, because AI is always available.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So I got another one here. So this one is from Jasmine from Atlanta, Georgia. What is the number one lie mobile notaries still believe that's keeping their income stuck?
The number one, that's a great question. The number one lie that mobile notaries believe. Damn, I can answer. There's so many answers I have to this. The number one, which one is the biggest one? The biggest one I would say is you need a commission in order to run this business. The reality is you're probably, and this is something that I would probably take from you, you probably would do better if you didn't have a commission. It would force you to think outside the box. About 2 years ago, there was a period where I renewed my commission, and it was delayed for 81 days. So for 81 days, I couldn't go out and sign and stamp documents. I was literally forced to run an agency. So that period was a non-stressful period, because I always knew in the back of my mind, I don't have to run these appointments. Wasn't that the point, to not be handcuffed to this commission? That I thought that I was supposed to be doing what I want to do because it's my business. Well, what I want to do is not have to go sit in somebody's smelly ass kitchen and smell their stinky breath, or wait for them to look for their passport for the next 20 minutes. I can send someone else to do that. So I would say that's probably the biggest one because all you hear about, and here's the reason why. Yeah, I'm solidifying. That's my number one. That's the number one thing that's holding people back. You need a commission. No, you don't. You're probably better off without a commission because you're truly the business owner at that point.
So we got. I'll read off two more. This is from Carlos from Phoenix, Arizona. Is the notary industry evolving or becoming extinct for the average practitioner?
Oh, yeah. I think, from my point of view, good question, Carlos. Is the notary industry evolving or becoming extinct for the average practitioner? If you look at most notaries, they're probably loan signing agents, or they're probably, I don't know the exact percentage, but I would definitely say more than 50%, more than half don't, they don't do it as a business. They operate it in their spare time, or they do it as a favor for their friends and for their families. They probably don't advertise outside beyond of signing up for some directory. So the answer is no. The industry is, in fact, evolving, just like everything else. The practitioner, however, has been stagnant, and it's dangerous for somebody to be stagnant in an era where everything is evolving, because they'll always be in this perpetual state of confusion. I don't know why I'm not getting any calls. Why am I not getting clients? This is a terrible industry. I'm getting out of this. And then they jump to the next thing without ever diagnosing what the problem really was. Good question, Carlos.
Now, this is the last question here. This is Sabrina related. This is from Tamika. Tamika from Dallas, Texas. She says, what problem does SabrinaAI solve that most notaries don't even realize they have?
What was her name? Who asked this question?
Tamika from Dallas, Texas.
Tamika from Dallas, Texas. Sabrina answers the question that every notary has, which is, who's going to answer the phone when I can't? Sabrina gives him an answer. Because I can ask you right now, Tamika, if you are driving and you can't answer the phone, somebody's calling because they have 15 signatures on a business agreement, and then you don't answer it, did you just lose out on that appointment? Sabrina answers that question. Sabrina doesn't lose out on those opportunities. It's really that simple. Really that simple. You can let appointments slip right through your fingers, or you can try to plug some of those holes that's allowing money to escape right out of the yacht of your business. You can try to plug some of those holes, and you'll find that it's not as difficult as you think it is to be successful in this industry.
So, Tech, we have a choice. You have your choice of doing the money corner or pass the trash. Which one would you like to roll?
Pass the trash, man. I'm fired up right now, man. We got to call some people out.
All right, cool. So before we go into pass the trash, let's go to these messages. I always wanted to say that. We'll be back after these messages.
As a part-time traveling notary with a full-time job, balancing everything can be tough, especially when you're getting calls at all hours. That's where SabrinaAI comes in. Think of Sabrina as your personal assistant who answers every call, handles appointment bookings, provides quick answers to common questions, and filters out non-urgent inquiries. Sabrina works 24/7 so you never miss a client opportunity, even when you're tied up with your full-time job. With this system, you can keep things running smoothly without the stress of managing calls yourself, giving you more time to focus on your work, clients, and everything else life throws your way.
Scan the QR code for a free demo.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah. Thinking of a state we should attack that we haven't touched yet, man.
Well, what is passive trash? Passive trash is when we pull up a notary website,
Yeah.
unprompted. We don't know what it is. We've never seen it before. And we give it critique. We answer the two questions. Can you book an appointment? And is the website functional? It's 2025, y'all. You don't have a functional website?
What is you doing, baby?
It's 2025. Your website has to be functional. I can tell you why your business is terrible. Your website doesn't do anything. So we're going to find out how notaries, what's the state of the notary website? And at the end, we determine, we give it a pass if it's good and it's functional, and we give it a trash if they need to completely dump this thing. So I'll share my screen, and let's see, man. We don't. So take a guess. What state? I'm just going to Google notary in this particular city or state, whatever it is, and we'll pick the very first one.
Do ATL, man.
Notary and ATL. All right. So we got Midtown Atlanta Notaries. Number one.
Just grab any of them.
This is funny right here. This is funny right here because that's talk about bootleggers. All right, let's go. Midtown Atlanta Notaries. We got 271 reviews, 5 stars, 3 years in business. All right, let's have a look.
Make the screen a little bigger.
All right. So first impression, I know Tiger, the first thing you always look for is a phone number. So we don't see a phone number above the fold, what we call. But what we have is we have a list, we have a menu. We have home, we have notary, notary Atlanta experts, enjoy Atlantic station, before and after your notary appointment. This might be some type of tourist thing, which is kind of cool. Apostle services, gift position services, and notary training. Fantastic. First thing we look for, book appointment. So although, and again, feel free to jump in, Tiger, but all this stuff is cool. But think about it. Your customer is coming to your website because why? They want to book. They want to make an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't care about Atlantic Station before or after your appointment. That might be cool. It might be some affiliate links built in there, which is cool. That's cool. I give some points for creativity there. But that's one more thing for the person to get distracted on. All right. So book appointment. We always want to go there. Where's this going to take us? It redirects us to Calendly. That's convenient. All right. So I'm going to guarantee that nobody uses this. Now, does it work?
Why would you say that?
I'm going to guarantee because, well, what am I paying for? Where do I live? Is this for my client? Is it for myself? Am I inside the ICU, or am I just at my living room or my office? There's zero. This is basically them putting up a donation button. $25, and there's zero context. All it says is notary service appointment, and then there's a calendar, and then I'll click on the date and says what type of document get notarized. So I'll say passport. How many signatures? Yeah, 8 signatures. Apart from the notary serving as a witness, is there another witness to sign your document? Yes, 1 witness. Yes, 2 witnesses.
I might not be able. I might not see the page that you see. It might have opened a different page for you. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, we did. Oh, that was good because it showed my phone number too. So that's good. Okay. Are you requesting mobile notary service? Let's say no. Do you require printing? If so, kindly send documents via email at least 3 hours. See, I'm guaranteeing you nobody uses this. I need 6 pages. Here's the thing. You're going to eliminate so many people. There's just language here that's going to... I need this like now. It's telling me that I need to send files 3 hours before the appointment. What if I'm on my cell phone? I don't have access to that right now. Then send text message to you. Okay. So, and then we have a whole list here. It says a service deposit required. Nobody's giving you a deposit. No, they're not. Appointment details. We're happy to help and recommend booking appointments, guarantee availability. While we do accept walk-ins, we can't promise a notary will be in the office. So again, this is another way of talking yourself out of business. We can't promise a notary will be in the office. Secure spot by scheduling ahead.
Did they really say that?
Yeah. So
wow.
You're telling me, so I'm better off just guessing and just walking in the middle of the street.
Well, that cancels out the payment part. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what would be the logic of mentioning that. If there's logic to it at all. They must have a location.
They have a physical location, yes. 391 17th Street, Northwest Atlanta.
But they're saying that we cannot guarantee that somebody is going to. But this is a mobile notary business?
Presumably, yes. Mobile notary is one of the options.
Yeah, because they're talking about mileage and stuff, right? So in a situation like that, maybe ladies and gentlemen, this is very, very important. Your communication skills have to be on point. It has to be on point, man. If you cannot communicate effectively of what you are looking to do, you're going to cause confusion, and you can cause one situation to cancel out another situation, where it puts the customer in a situation to not do anything at all. It's like, you know what? I don't know what's going on here. So instead of saying like we cannot guarantee that a notary will be on the premises, you can say something like all of our notaries are mobile. There are no active notaries located in the facility.
Yes.
Or our facility is strictly for logistics and dispatching. But you have to let them know, like, okay, just in case you're thinking about going to the location, you'll meet somebody, but it won't be a notary. This is our logistics center. This is where we dispatch the notaries. This isn't, But the fact that you're saying, hey, there's no guarantee, so you're rolling the dice. You're playing roulette at this point. Should I go? Should I not go? Let me just call instead. Is there a notary in-house? Now you're also battling the client on the pricing of two services now.
Already. Look at that. Do you guys see that? You guys following this? Keep going, Tiger.
You're gonna fight with them on do you want us to come to you or do you want to come to us? Knowing that you're not operating out of the damn office. Now, if you're in the office all the time, that's one thing. Go ahead and knock yourself out. But if this is a virtual office and this client says, I want to meet you at the office, and you're not in the office, now you have to drive back to the office to meet this client, you might as well just go to their house for the same damn price, bro.
Bro,
you shot yourself in the foot.
Does that make sense to y'all? I'm hoping that makes sense to you guys. You just made yourself into a mobile notary, but you just completely bypassed the mobile fee.
Mm-hmm.
Like now you're going to drive to the office to meet them there, and you're not even charging a travel fee. You're like, and then it says the deposit will be subtracted from the total amount. Please note that and there's a spelling error here. Please note that the deposit is non-refundable if the appointment is canceled. So yeah, this sounds like something that guy Dan from Colorado asked about AI in this industry. This is something you should run AI through. This sounds like their own words, and not to say that they're not intelligent. This is just not good copy right here.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just losing my confidence to help this person. To hire
people buy what you sell them, folks. People buy what you sell them. If you sell mayonnaise like Hellman's, but then you offer 5 different type of mayonnaise, salt and vinegar mayonnaise, barbecue mayonnaise. I'm probably grossing some of you guys out, but what I'm trying to illustrate is that if you give them too many choices, there is some type of inertia that just like it freezes them. It's too many choices, so they freeze right there in that spot. And you're like, you know what? Let me think about it. That's what you'll hear. Let me think about it.
I'll call you back.
Yeah, let me call you back because you're giving the people way too many options. And a business as simple like the notary business, they don't need that many options because you're not asking for, thousands of dollars. These are like hundreds of dollars that you're asking for. So don't complicate it more than you need to. Give them the best option. You ask them about their problem, diagnose their problems first, then find the best solution and deliver that solution straight through. Now, if there is rebuttal on the pricing, then you know that there has to be some type of takeaway. They have to make some type of concession. Okay, if you want this Mercedes at this price, we're going to put a tape deck in there. No Bluetooth. You get tape deck. They don't even make tapes anymore. We don't make Benzes at this price either. But you have to give up something. Yeah, never give a discount without a concession. Never. Because then you look shady, by the way. You look shady if you start discounting your services or your products without asking them to let go of something. Like, we have to eliminate something if you want this price. So I gave you the best price off the rip.
And the cool part about this is that this person is doing training. They're training notaries. Training materials.
That's really what they want to do.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. They're doing it for $35. Like, come on. Yeah. Nobody's buying this training. Nobody's buying the training. And I'm not saying anything about their what they're offering is not the reason why people aren't buying it. The reason why people aren't buying the training is because as I'm sharing this page here, I click on the buy training package and it goes directly to a PayPal link.
For so long, use that knowledge for what it's worth, man. Well, so what would you have changed on that website?
I would, if anything, I would just fix the Calendly page. I would put the phone number. I would prominently display the phone number. I would remove the links about Chicago station or Atlanta train station, and I would put the size of the website is okay. Like the looks clean, but it's just, I guarantee it's functional, so it works. So I know, but it's functional in the sense that the links are working. But what I want to say is that it's dysfunctional in the sense that I guarantee nobody's using it. Because the client is actually looking forward to just taking the next step. They may not be able to complete the entire transaction. And when that confusion is injected, they'll just call you. So if your phone number is hard to find, or if they have to struggle and scroll, and unless they're desperate, they're probably just going to move on to the next option. And we haven't even talked about her not answering the phone. So if we called and she didn't answer the phone, then that's even a bigger problem.
So pass or trash?
I'm going to say trash.
Damn. I even got the sound effects, but I felt like doing a beatbox style today. The industry needs help, bro. It needs a facelift. I need a BBL. It need implants. It need lip injections. It needs some work, man. It needs some work. It needs the treadmill. It needs some work. It needs some weight training.
It's real bad.
There's a lot of changes going on in the industry, and operating like it was pre-pandemic in 2025 will hurt your business, man. It will hurt it. There's new products coming out. There's new softwares where you could do remote online notarization. See, I'm like this, Tech. If you can get to the money, man, get to the money. But make sure you're not breaking your back trying to get to the money. I'm looking for. I don't believe money is a difficult thing for people to obtain. Depending on how you grew up, it may come across like, man, it's hard to get money out here in these streets. If you keep saying that to yourself, you'll eventually walk in that world, that line, that life. Everything is always going to be hard for you to obtain when it comes to money. Money is circulating everywhere. It should be a very simple process. It shouldn't be anything complicated unless you're playing on a level of a Fortune 500 company where you have to hire somebody, a CEO, COO, CFO, all of these 3-letter executives. This ain't that type of industry, y'all. I know you might want to think because it's a legal industry, but it's really not that. You don't need a CEO for this business, man. You can make an excellent living with you, reliable notary directory, and Sabrina, and you can kill it. You can kill it. Sabrina is handling all of your phone calls. That way, none of those phone calls go to the voicemail graveyard. She's capturing the leads for you. she's sending follow-ups and emails, and you have a optimized website and stuff. You got all of that set up. Now you have the notary directory where if you're dispatching notaries, which is one of the most ideal ways to scale your business, because if you're running all of the notaries, you can only do so much. And I could count on my watch when you're going to burn out. If you think you're going to run 10 appointments per day, I will set the timer on my watch and watch you crash and burn. Easily. Like I give this person 2 weeks, 30 days max before they take a 2-month vacation.
Right.
And then all of that work that you did, somebody else is going to snatch that up. So have a reliable notary directory that you can access notaries. Recruit. You should always be recruiting for your notary business. Even if you don't even have that much work yet, you should be recruiting. Off the rip. Because you never know when you're going to land a corporate client that has multiple clients in multiple different states. And then the last thing is, what I say, yourself. You spearhead the business. You think of the bigger picture. Okay, I want to start expanding here. I want to expand here. Dallas, Texas, or Houston, Texas seems to be a very hot market. I'm getting 85%. You should audit your business as well. I'm getting 85% of my clientele from Texas. Let me push and get more clients in Texas. Let me recruit more heavy in Texas. This game is so laid out for you. It's just doing the small little execution work, I would call it, Tech. Just executing on the little minor stuff, and you could have a big blow up just off of the minor execution. You want to add anything before we bounce?
Yeah, that's perfectly said. The last thing you want to do is add more services. I need to be an apostille processor. I need to do fingerprinting. I need to offer weddings. I need to do depositions. I need to do field inspections. Stop with all the damn ancillary, non-related services. Yo, like Tiger said, just the quickest thing you need to do is figure out how to get paid. Does your payment processor work? Does the gateway is actually set up? Can you actually answer a phone call? Does your website function? You adding 7 or 8 10 different services just so that you can run 10 more appointments so that you can be more busy is not going to answer the primary question, which is how do I actually keep this business open? Otherwise, you ain't going to be in business very long. That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to book a private demo to see Sabrina in action, check out the QR code that you see at the bottom of your screen. Scan that with your phone if you're watching it on your television, the show on your TV. Scan it with your phone. It'll take you to our site. Book a private demo. See how we can take your business to that next level. Look at the great things that you get. You get the professional business line. You're also going to get this is a bonus, actually. You're going to get an optimized website. For those that don't have website, you do not have a web presence, this is highly, highly recommended. You're going to get the optimized website. You're also going to get 24/7 smart scheduling, instant payment setup, automated client capture, and private community coaching that we talk about. Ads, we talk about recruitment. There's a lot of things that we talk about in our private community that we do not speak on the open forum. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, tune in next week. We have a powwow show for you. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we will talk to you guys soon. You heard?
As a business owner, you're juggling a lot, and managing phone calls can quickly become overwhelming.
That's where Sabrina, the AI voice automation that turns calls into clients, comes in. Imagine having a reliable 24/7 assistant that never misses a call, handles routine questions, schedules appointments, and directs important calls to the right people, all without needing a human touch.
This frees up your team's time to focus on what really matters, saves you money, and ensures every customer gets a consistent, professional experience. It's like having an extra set of hands, so you can focus on growing your business, not just managing calls.
Scan the QR code to book your free demo today.